can tell who I am by what I do. That's what a constitution is all about. You can tell, the persons can tell what you're all about by what you do. I would also say, simply put, having a constitution of life communicates clearly the intent and the content as well as the context of the area in which we do life. See, without a family constitution, we seem to be a little confused. We seem to be trying to pull it together, can't quite make it. But with the Constitution, it's all together, because you know that that Constitution warrants how you do life. Simply put, my desire is to fulfill that which is meaningful, and that only has meaning within the realm of my doing. I don't have a family constitution unless I do. I've been saying throughout this entire series that we should stop talking so much about what we are and start doing and living what we say that we are. Now let's review our Constitution. In other words, we're going to look back in retrospect. Some of you have a program there, and in the program that you have in front of you, I've already filled in the first part of the outline, but I think it's important for us to go back in retrospect before we get into the second aspect of this. We're looking at the definition of a constitution. We said, number one, that it is a bodily framed reference which governs those that abide by its standards. A constitution is a set of objectives that govern your life. Number two, we said it is a fundamental law and practices that govern the operations of an organization. In other words, if your family doesn't have something that governs the way you live in life, then your constitution is a little messed up. Thirdly, we said it's a ratified agreement agreed upon by those within the group. You folk agree with that. Your children agree, the parents agree, even the church family agrees with it. When you find people that don't agree with the Constitution, you know that they don't have one. Fourthly, we said that it can only be amended by the highest court in power at the time of its operation. Who do we say the highest court was? God, because God is the one that wrote our family constitutions. We don't write it. We don't rewrite it. He's the one that's done it. And fifthly, it is a document which we adhere to. Therefore, it is deemed important to those that believe in its statements. In other words, I adhere to the Constitution, not just on Sunday. I adhere to it on Tuesday, Wednesday, not just on Sunday morning worship, but every hour of the day. We also asked this question: why is it important for our family to have a constitution? We said that any family that does not have a form of constitution has opened itself up to chaos. Secondly, we said that a family does not have a governing process by which to base their future upon. In other words, if you do not have a biblical constitution, you don't know how to base your future upon anything. And thirdly, we said that that would be like you being on welfare, buying a house in Hancock Park. It would not work. That's how it is when you don't have a godly standard in your particular life, and it's very important to have that. So, we also looked at our Constitution of Marriage. That was the first point that we looked at. My Constitution of Marriage. I'm just reviewing, because you see, a lot of times we come to church and you don't understand the importance of that. You got to review. I can't go on talking about the ladies unless we understand what we said about the men, all right? You see, you ladies are not going to understand the connection. See, some of you ladies think I'm just here to browbeat you. No, review the notes. Because if your man don't stand up under this Constitution, I can't talk to you. Remember, we also said, after the month of April, we ain't touching this. We aren't touching anything for the rest of the year on family. What I mean by that is the only time you're going to contact Pastor John is when your family's in crisis, and I'm going to either call the police or the ambulance. Because I ain't coming by to give you no more counseling on this. I'm exhausting this sucker to death. I mean, man, I'm taking you to the furthest extreme, so don't call me after April. Oh, my husband ain't this, my wife ain't. I'm going to order the tape. That's why we're having a video. Order the tape and deal with that, because I'm not going to spend any time counseling you anymore. No, 4 months I've gone over family life. Your family don't get right now, it never will be. Your head's going to be spinning for the rest of your Christian experience. You will do these things. You will undertake this Constitution. And if you show up late and if you show up dragging, that's what you all about. Late, dragging, and sagging, and for the rest of your lives, that's all your spouses and your children have to look forward to because your brain didn't get it yet. So let's look at this. Constitutional marriage. We said we believe that it is not good for a man to live alone. You got the scripture. Genesis 2:18. Second thing, we say we believe that God will provide a suitable woman for the man and will bring them together in marriage to enjoy a lifelong union. You got the scripture. Matthew 19:6. It's right there. Then we said, thirdly, that we believe that marriage is a union that presents a one-flesh concept. Ephesians 5:31. We've gone over that. I'm not going to waste my time re-preaching this. Because, you see, my friends, if you don't believe it, you're going to act like you don't believe it. You're going to act like you don't believe it. We also said that we believe that this union is for the fulfillment of sexual gifts. I watched the video and I got down on that particular point. If you have any kind of question about what I mean by sexual gifts, rent the video. We're going to charge you to rent the video. Don't ask me to give it to you free. No, you're going to pay $5 to rent it, just like you would in a video store. Because, see, you want to see Terminator 1, Terminator 2, Terminator 3, Terminator 4, you need to rent Marriage Part 5 for $5 and put it on the offering plate for the Lord, since you don't know how to get down sexually within a marriage. We also said that we believe that this union of marriage is for the building up of a strong family. We went through Titus 2:4-5. And then the last thing that we hit on in that particular series, we believe in raising up godly offspring that provides a picture of Christ's love for the church. Deuteronomy 6 and Ephesians 5. You have the scriptures for all of that. Then we went into our Constitution for the role of the man. In other words, our Constitution of biblical manhood. What do we say that we believe? We believe that the husband is the servant leader. I gave you all those scriptures. All those scriptures, servant leader. If you're not that, men, you're a weak thing. Ladies, if you don't have a man that's that, please go back over that when you get home and read the Bible tonight. If he's not that, he's a weak thing. I don't care what he says. I don't care what he thinks he is. He is a weak thing. You didn't marry a man, you married a boy in sheep's clothing. That's what you married. You married a boy in sheep's clothing. And so you go over that. We've gone over that. What did we also say? We believe that the husband is a lover, protector, and the provider of the family. Gave you all those scriptures. All those scriptures. We went through that. And then we said that the major task, and we went over that. We said that the major task was to love. The major task was to love. And then we gave you all those scriptures in 1 Timothy and all those scriptures there. Now, we conclude with a look at what I call constitutional demands of women. Constitutional demands for the woman, for the female, for the lady. Keep in mind what we're seeking to do. We are writing a private constitution, not just for the lone lady in the vacuum, but that lady which we love in our homes, in our church, in our schools, in their jobs, for the lady that you know, for the lady that you are. We're writing this Constitution. Keep in mind what we're seeking to do. We're seeking to describe the characteristics of that believer, this lady, in light or in spite of her pain, her perplexity, or her plight. We're going to look at the way she's supposed to live her life as she writes her Constitution.